Good night. It's coming close to 11 o'clock on the 26th of July 2023 here in rural Ireland, and today has been unbelievably wet. We've had a terribly wet July. I got wet several times and had to change my clothes and put them in hot presses and everything. It's just miserable. In any event, we have a video here on the EV fire on board a ship. Now, the first thing is that about a year ago, maybe a little more, a ship called the Felicity Ace, carrying at least 4,000 top of the range Volkswagen connected. You know the way Volkswagen and Audi and that are the same. Volkswagen connected new cars on its way to America. There was about maybe 8 or 9% of them electric cars. One of the electric cars caught fire. The fire couldn't be put out. Nobody lost their lives. They evacuated the crew. The fire couldn't be salvaged, and the whole lot, cars and all, went to the bottom of the ocean. It got no publicity because the crooked media will not say anything that would lower the public's tendency to buy electric cars. I wouldn't buy one if I got it. I wouldn't take one free, I'd say. I'd probably not take it free, but certainly wouldn't buy one anyway. Some people have them because the companies they work for have an environmental image, and they want to have electric cars, and you get it for nothing. But the thing is, it's still highly dangerous. The batteries are lithium. I might do some film on that on some good day and create a fire with lithium. It's a very heavy substance, but anyway, they're a fire hazard. Now, so the Felicity Ace went down, and now the Fremantle Highway ship. It's a car transporter. There it's there. Look at the fire on it. It came out of the Dutch port. The electric cars caught fire. They're trying to deny that's the case. There's no denying it. It is the electric cars caught fire. The crew tried to put it out, and of course they may not have known. They obviously had no training. You can't put it out of water. They can't be put out at all. The only way you could transport electric cars by sea is if you had them on a deck somewhere, so that if they caught fire, you could tip them into the sea. If you got them into the sea, they'll do no more harm. But anyway, they couldn't put it out. But the weird thing about this is one crew member lost his life. And the second weird thing is a heap of them jumped overboard. The fire was so vicious that people had to jump overboard. Now, just consider this. There are several instances of these electric cars catching fire. And here is a fire on a lorry transporter. You see it there? There's a lorry transporter. Now, I don't know, can you see it there? And it's on flames there. That's what you're dealing with. That's the intensity of the flames. Now, enough said. It'll be on the news, I'm sure, to some degree. But my point is this. Norwegian ferry companies will not let electric cars on board on the ship. But the Irish and British ferries and most ferries will. Now imagine if you and your family are on one of those ships. Why were the crew not able to get into lifeboats? Surely we had this out with the Titanic 100 and more years ago. Why? Why is there no way to escape? How did a crewman die? There'll be no inquiry, of course. There'll be nothing, because the Irish, the British, the American and the whole lot of the Greens are trying to force us to abandon our internal combustion engine cars, which are far, far safer and can be put out with a fire brigade using water or other suppressant. But they don't want to give them a bad name, and they're prepared to risk the lives of passengers. Eventually, if there's only one of these on board a ferry and it catches fire, what can be done? What can be done? Because it'll ignite all the cars beside it if they're electric. There could be precautions by spacing them out and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, on a huge ship with a big deck, you'd think you could go to a corner of it or something. The heat was so intense, the poor old devils jumped overboard, and some were rescued, and one lost his life. If any of his family watch this, you have my deepest condolence. This scam of renewable energy, electric cars, condemning fuel, climate change, and the whole lot is one gigantic scam, one nasty, ugly, dirty scam, which I have fought for the last 15 years to try and expose it for what it is. Now this man has lost his life, others have already lost their life, and I would call on the Irish government to outlaw the carriage of electric cars on ferries where there are people. Because just for those who don't know, this was a dedicated ship just carrying the vehicles. It was a cargo vessel. Now, the Felicity Ace that went down last year was a cargo vessel. But the Irish ferries, like the Stena Line and all those Irish ferries going across to England and the ferries going from Wexford to France, they are combined. They are ferries and passenger ships. So they're designed so you can drive your car on and take your family up and have a meal or whatever while you're crossing and have a sleep. And they're also designed so they can take paying passengers with no cars. This has changed everything. These are a deadly, dangerous hazard, and no health and safety assessment could possibly condone exposing people. This is a matter of life and death with these green, left-wing, woke creeps having a say in our lives. Folks, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We'll see you back for something else. You'll get it there. There's some good videos. There's actually one video on it by a guy. I can't get him here, and he has the whole manifest. He reckons it's 3,850. The news says 2,850. I'm not quite sure. There's some real fancy ones, and there's even a boxed mini. I think it's a mini Clubman. There's even a boxed second-hand one of those on it. So imagine the cost of that. And the Volkswagen company or their insurers took the hit the last time, and now they took the hit again. They might try to tow it into port, not let it go down in the sea. If that goes down in the sea off the European coast or the Dutch coast, just think of the environmental damage, the cars and all the oil that's in them and everything else. This time there was some proper technical engineering inquiry into this immediately, because if there's not, there will be deaths, and there'll be hard, cruel deaths. At the very best, you'd need rows and rows of lifeboats capable of being launched instantly. There needs to be a whole health and safety thing for this, but they don't want to do it because the religion of climate change and all its works and pomps has no respect for human life whatsoever. None whatsoever. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We'll see you back for something else soon.